Today's video is how to prep the rough opening to install a new door. So the tools that you need for this job is a 6-foot level, a 2-foot level, and just a tape measure. So the first thing that you want to do is clean the framing. So the framing, so this old framing, it's new siding, but it's old framing. And this old framing, it had some nails sticking out of it. There's a nail sticking out right there. I grinded off some nails. And then one thing you don't want is you don't want the siding to stick out past the framing or the sheetrock to stick out past the framing. Up here, if you look here with the camera, you'll see that this has a fresh Sawzall line. I took the Sawzall and I ran it like that, and I cut it because the sheetrock was hanging down. And the reason that you don't want the sheetrock hanging down is so that when you use your shims to install your shims from both sides, you don't have anything getting in the way. So the second thing to do is to check the width. Now you need to check the width both top and bottom because they could be different. You want them ideally to be the same. So this one, the width is 34 1/4 and 34 and about 3/8, about 1/4. So it's pretty close, which is fine for the rough opening. The second thing that we want to do is check the height. We're going to want to check it on both sides because the top, there could be differences from side to side. We're dealing with an existing opening. So this is just about 82 1/2 and this is 82 1/2. So side to side, these are the same, and then the opening is the same. That's good. We like that. So we measured the door, we measured the rough opening. So this is basically what we saw. The rough opening is 34 1/4 by 82 1/2. The door is 33 1/2 by 81 3/4. And that gives us the gap of the width is 3/4, which will mean that we'll have 3/8 on each side, which is good. And then the height is 3/4 we have a gap, which is actually too much because we'll have a 3/4 inch gap on the top because there'll be no gap on the bottom. So I'm probably going to put a shim, I'm going to put a piece of wood right in here. That'll make that a little bit smaller. So the next thing is to check the level of the floor and the top. So if I put the level on here, now this is concrete in a garage, so it's going to be a little bit not perfect. But if you look at it here, you can see that it's out of level. So if I raise up one side, I'm trying to bring it to the middle there. I've already checked it with my laser level. And this laser level, this right here is 2 inches off the ground, this line, this laser line. So if I go over here, it's 2 3/8. So what that tells me is this side is 3/8 lower than this side. Okay, so that's gonna be an issue when we install the door. So let's go up to the top, and I'm seeing about the same thing. It's out, and so if I drop this side down, I'm getting to the middle, and it's about the same as it was at the bottom. The next thing to do is to check to see if your framing is plumb. So if we got this right here, you can see that it's not lined up. If I pull it out, then right to plumb, I got about, a 5/8 gap down at the bottom. So there's that big of a gap at that far down to get to plumb, okay? So the other side is actually the opposite. So it's about the exact same gap, the opposite. So what that tells us is that the whole house has sunk. And when it sunk, it took the floor and the top down like that, and it took this wall like that. So now we have a decision to make. The decision to make is, are we gonna try to install the door square and plumb, so straight up and down and level, or are we going to frame it to the outer square of the existing house? So in this case, what we're going to do is we're actually going to square it to itself. If I make it plumb and level, the trim that goes on is going to look like that. Squaring it to the house is going to make it tighter to the ground. The next video that we post will be how to set the door square to itself in the framing hole. Please subscribe if you got value, hit the notification button, and comment and ask questions below.